Welcome to Parlay TV.
Plenty of things look easy at first. Skydiving, lion taming. From the comfort of your armchair, all sorts of risks look easy as
Cristiano Ronaldo, Diogo Jota, and Bruno Fernandes literally
blew Russia off the park in a clinical display of attacking football.
Wow.
Sorry, what did you say, Kobe?
Wow, bro.
Let's break it down.
I am Pat Mayo, and I'm here to give you the best pick at the top of the board. The best bet, if you will.
So I'm going to go with just under 25 for Middleton here.
Welcome back, everybody, to Spreadzies. I'm your host, Luca, alongside Jelani, and here we are already into NFL Week 11. We are going to be making our picks against the spread. Just to quickly recap and tell you guys how we did last week. I went 9-5 to now bring my overall record to 63-56. So I did have myself a good week. It was another wild week, couple upsets we saw. Jelani, how did your record look?
So I went 7-7 in week 10. So now I'm at 62-57, right behind you still. We'll see if I leapfrog you this week.
Yeah, it's getting interesting, man. Every single week we're edging closer and closer to the other. Okay, so we got a full slate of games this week. I think only 2 teams on the bye, so a lot of matchups to get to. We're going to just jump right into it with the first game. We got Thursday night football in New England. They are fire right now. They are 7-point favorites taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Jelani, who do you like in the spot?
I got to go with the Patriots here. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Mac Jones. He's playing great football right now. Probably the best rookie out of all the rookie quarterbacks, you might say, because Trevor Lawrence, he hasn't looked that great. But yeah, Mac Jones, he's just been so good. And working in that Belichick system, I think it works perfectly, right? And we're seeing from the defensive side of the ball as well in New England right now, they're implementing good game plans. And I think that this game plan this week against the Falcons will be tough for Matt Ryan's offense to overcome. So I understand that both teams are going and trending different directions. Right now, the Falcons probably going to drop their second straight, and then the Pats looking like they're going to probably win their 5th straight. So give me New England here.
Yeah, New England has been playing really well lately. Hard to bet against them. I'm going to probably regret this pick, but I am going to go with the Atlanta Falcons at home. I do like that I'm getting all these points. And what we learned last week and in these last couple of weeks of the NFL season is these home dogs, they're making things interesting and they're covering the number. I mean, we saw it last Thursday when the Baltimore Ravens lost against the Dolphins. I do like Atlanta to make this game interesting. For as bad as they looked against the Cowboys, they still got a lot of weapons. Matt Ryan having himself a very underrated season. You know, he likes to spread the wealth, and them being at home, I think, is going to be a huge boost. This is still a Falcons team that is battling for the playoffs. So this is not going to be a game that they just look ahead or want to waste. This is actually going to be a very big game for them. So I do think New England is going to win, but I do like Atlanta to keep things interesting and to make this one close. So I do like the Falcons +7.
All right, we'll see if the Falcons help you out there. And a good 1 o'clock game on Sunday. We have Buffalo and we have Indianapolis. The Bills are favored here. So do you think that the Colts can end up winning this thing or at least covering?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a shootout. I think there's going to be a lot of points. Buffalo, it's going to be cold. I think that's going to favor the Bills. 7 seems like it's a large number, but I'm actually going to take the Bills in this spot. I think they are going to win this game by at least a touchdown. We could even see a push here. Pull one out. Josh Allen and the Bills, they got back on track a week ago. I mean, after losing to the Jags the way that they did, they were embarrassed. They really put the beat down on the Jets. So I think they're going to be ready for this one. And I think this is going to be a game where they flex their muscles a little bit and prove to everybody that they're still the team to beat in the AFC. And they are going to be taking on a Colts team that have been playing really well lately. This is a team that they too are battling for a playoff spot. So it is going to be a close game, I think, in the 4th, but Buffalo will pull away thanks to Josh Allen leading them to some signature late game drive. So I do like the Bills to cover the 7 here.
And I agree with you. I think the Bills being here at a 7, I think it's a bit big, of a spread. I think the Colts could make this one really, really close, but I put more faith in Josh Allen and this offense. I believe that they'll get points on the board, and they're starting to look like themselves again. We saw what they managed to do against New York, right? They had a few tough weeks in terms of getting in the end zone, but now they're back to who we really think they are. They're probably the best or most well-rounded roster in football. They just got to prove it, right? And I think in a tough game, this will be tough. This is a great AFC matchup, especially for playoff picture, and the outlook there. I think that the Bills will come up big and get this one done. So give me Buffalo here.
Okay, next game, we got the Washington football team coming off the upset win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How many people have that? Going up against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are minus 2.5-point favorites, and Cam Newton is back.
Yeah, I'm happy that Cam is back, but I don't think that I have to go there. I have to go with Washington here. I believe in Taylor Heineke. I believe that he'll have a good game. Like, I think the Carolina defense has been pretty good this year, right? They've had certain games where they haven't been playing that great, but I honestly think Taylor's going to have a good game. But the only thing is, when you're talking Washington, you're talking Chase Young, and it's very unfortunate ACL injury, so he's out for the rest of the season, but they still managed to execute their game plan against Tampa Bay, and they made it tough for Tom Brady and company, and we saw that on the weekend. I believe that they're going to do the same thing to Cam Newton. I like that Cam is back. The only question is, how is he going to look, right? He's getting most first-team reps this week with their offense, but he hasn't played a full game in how long, right? So how is he going to look out there? Is he going to look like how he looked in those 2 touchdowns? Is he going to come out firing and making everything work out? Or is it going to be a bit of, baby steps getting right back into the groove of things? Because this isn't the same, game plan, not the same playbook that he left Carolina with, right? This is Matt Rule now. So it's a new head coach, a new scheme. I think it's going to take some time for Cam to gel and get right back into the groove of things, especially when talking about a full game. So give me Washington here in a very close battle.
Yeah, I believe in the hype. I think Carolina has been rejuvenated with Cam Newton. They needed that spark. This is a team that started off well 3-0, then it went downhill for them. I think this is what the doctor ordered for Carolina. I do think Carolina is going to look solid in back-to-back weeks. Cam Newton, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. I think that's only going to motivate him to prove to people that he still has what it takes. McCaffrey's now back into the mix. And on the other end, you alluded to it, Jelani, no Chase Young. I think that's going to be really big for the, Washington to overcome. That's going to be demoralizing to not only their defense, but to their entire team. Heineke has been playing well, but, now you're going on the road, a place where they haven't looked that good this season. I do like Carolina to take advantage of Washington because all in all, their defense hasn't lived up to the hype coming into the season. They've been giving up a lot of points. I know they did look good against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, but let's see if they can do it in back-to-back weeks. I don't think they will. I do like Carolina at home here. I'll lay the 3.5.
All right, it's going to be interesting to see Cam against Ron Rivera. Now moving on to another 1 o'clock game, a fun one here that might go down in Chicago. We have the Baltimore Ravens and the Chicago Bears. Ravens favored here. Will Justin Fields outperform Lamar Jackson?
It's going to be close. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. I'm actually going to take the Bears +6. I don't like the Ravens in terms of covering these spreads. This is a team that is very much struggling in terms of covering the number. And Chicago has proven that they can play well at home. Fields, he has been looking really good as we have gone through this NFL season. He almost led the Bears to that epic comeback on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago against Pittsburgh. I do like what I've been seeing from him. And I think Chicago's defense is going to take a page out of Miami's book and continue to force Lamar Jackson into making some tough throws. They're going to really test them in this game. And if you're Baltimore, this is a big game for you. You're coming off a loss. This is a team that's got Super Bowl aspirations, at least deep playoff aspirations. How are you going to look after having all that time off, coming off that devastating loss against Miami at Soldier Field against a Bears team that is going to be ready for this one? So I do think the Ravens will ultimately win this game, but I'm thinking more it's going to be along the lines of a field goal type game. And given the Ravens' track record, especially in the last couple of weeks, I just don't trust them covering these big spreads. I think there's going to be another close game for Lamar Jackson and company. So I'll take the Bears +6 given that.
Yeah, you said it all. I have the Bears as well. And it's because the Ravens, you expect them to, throttle these teams and run all over these teams and destroy everybody. But that hasn't been the case. A lot of their wins have been by 3 points, by a touchdown. So what is Lamar Jackson and company going to do? And I hope that the Ravens protect Lamar, because we saw how he didn't have any time back there against Miami. The game plan didn't work for John Harbaugh and that offense. Also, you're looking at the O-line. The offensive line struggled, again, to protect Lamar. So against a pretty solid Bears team, how will they look? And it's going to be a tough game, a physical battle, and the elements, right? It's going to be the weather. It's going to be cold out there. So how is it going to look? They also dropped Le'Veon Bell just now, the Ravens did. So that's an interesting point. But yeah, there's more pressure on Baltimore. I know they're the better team. I think they're going to win the game outright. But I think there's more pressure on them. They understand they're third in the AFC right now. Their division's looking tighter. The Steelers are right behind them at 5-3-1 with that record. The Bengals and Browns right behind. So Baltimore has to get this one done for sure. But I think it's going to be very tough. I believe also that Justin Fields will have a nice game. But yeah, give me the Bears here. Outright, I'd say Baltimore. But yeah, the Bears will cover.
Okay, next game here, we got the Detroit Lions coming off a tie. We saw a tie in the NFL. You never want to see those. Everybody hates ties. Going into Cleveland now to take on the Browns. The Browns are 10-point favorites. Are you taking the Browns to beat the Lions big here?
I'm going to take the Lions here. I think that the Browns will win the game, but it will be a close game. Detroit, although they're winless, they have had 5 wins against the spread. And look, the Browns, they're coming off of a bad performance, right, against New England. So I want to see how the Lions come up to this weekend. They have to limit mistakes. They have to limit the turnovers. And the Lions must limit the penalties, right? That's what really killed them. They could have won that game in Pittsburgh had there not been as many penalties. I expect DeAndre Swift to have a nice game. He'll be used a lot. But the one thing is, for the Lions to actually cover here, they're going to have to do things in the ground, right? Like I said, DeAndre Swift, because the Browns, they struggled with the run. They struggled with it against New England because Damian Harris wasn't playing for the Patriots, and yet they still managed to have north of 100 yards. And Nick Chubb will be back for their offense, so I believe he'll have impact. But at the end of the day, I think that the Lions will cover here. They do play hard. We know this under Dan Campbell, despite the fact that they haven't won yet.
Yeah, I love this Lions pick. I wouldn't be surprised if they finally figure it out and get a win. I mean, if there's one team you're going to figure it out against, it is this Browns team that has looked like a mess. You don't know which version of the Browns you're going to get. Are you going to get the one we saw a couple weeks ago where Mayfield looked good without OBJ, or are you going to get the one that we saw last week? I think Swift is going to have a huge game. He's going to run all over the place here. I think Goff is going to move the ball down the field. The Lions will make this game interesting. So having the Browns favorite by 10, I think it's way too many points. And like you said, Jelani, they have 5 wins against the spread. The Lions do. They're 5-4 against the spread this season. I do not trust this Browns team whatsoever. A very inconsistent team. Mayfield is getting ripped apart, by the media teams every single week. People not believing in him. And they really got to, come through with a big win here, because if they do somehow lose against the Lions, man, they're going to have a lot of questions to deal with. So I think the Lions are going to make this one close, and they might have a chance to win it at the end. So I like the Detroit Lions plus 10. This is one of my favorite picks this week.
All right, we agree there. And now moving on to the San Francisco 49ers. They're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars this week, and Niners favored here. So do you take the Niners?
I do like the Niners in this spot. I think they saved their season with that big win at home against the Rams. I expected them to do that. Shanahan, he always knows how to play the Rams really, really well. Came up big time. And you got to credit Kyle Shanahan and his play calling in that game. That Niners team looked completely different than the one we have seen so far. The Niners, I think they're going to use that win against the Rams to go on a bit of a run here. I just have this feeling they're going to string together a couple of wins. And favorably for them, they're going to be going into Jacksonville. I know they had that big win against Buffalo at home a few weeks ago, but I'm not really sold by the Jags. I still think this is going to be a long retooling, rebuilding season for them. So this is a perfect opportunity for the Niners to continue what they did in that game against the Rams into this one. Look for Garoppolo to have a good game. Look for guys like Kittle to get involved. Look for the run game to get it going, and that defense to really show up here. And you talk about the Niners this season, Jelani. They have looked much different on the road compared to at home. They finally did get that home win, but on the road, they've looked a lot more impressive. They have 3 straight wins on the road against the spread. So I do think they are going to win this game by at least a touchdown. Give me the 49ers on the road, -6.5 to make it 2 wins in a row.
Yeah, I got the Niners as well. I was very impressed with what I saw on Monday Night Football against the Los Angeles Rams, and they entered the game giving up the 4th fewest points per game. So I believe the Jaguars will struggle. I think they'll struggle in the air specifically because the Niners have a good pass defense, and a lot of teams have played the Niners tough on the results. Some games the Niners have had close wins, but I don't think this is going to be close. I think that Trevor Lawrence and company are going to struggle. I think that the safe pick here is definitely San Francisco. There's just too much going on in Jacksonville. They almost did pull out a win in Indianapolis, but here I just don't see it happening for them. Give me the Niners.
Okay, we agree with that pick as well. Next game, we got a good one. We got the Green Bay Packers on the road, and they're laying 2.5 points against the Minnesota Vikings. You never know which version of the Vikings you're going to get on a week-to-week basis. So which version are we going to get here, Jelani?
Well, I can't go Vikings here. They're 5-4 against the spread. So again, week by week, like you just said, we don't know. They're very inconsistent. The Packers 9-1 against the spread. So they're 90%. I have more faith in that guy on the screen, Aaron Rodgers. I think that Aaron Rodgers and company, they'll get this one done. The Packers just continue winning. They're first in the NFC right now. They're playing really, really good football. One key note, obviously, they lost out on Aaron Jones for this week. He'll be out a few weeks with that MCL sprain. But I do look at A.J. Dillon. I think he's going to have a nice day on the ground. But yeah, I just don't know if Kirk Cousins will have another good game like he just had in L.A., right? He needs to outplay Rodgers for this to work. And also, the Vikings are going to need Dalvin Cook to run the football like he did against L.A. because he had 94 rushing yards. They'll want to be close to 100 rushing yards during this one. But I think the Packers, their defense, even without Jair Alexander, they're playing really, really good football. All around great team, good coaching. Give me the Packers.
Yeah, perfectly said there. I got to go with the Packers as well. As you mentioned, one of the surest bets this season. They cover the number. They're winning these games. Their defense looked really good in that shuttle win against the Seahawks. Aaron Rodgers did not miss a beat. He came back from COVID, and he looks like his normal self. I expect this to be another big-time win for the Packers as they have aspirations of getting, the number 1 seed in the NFC. You look at teams like the Rams slipping up, Tampa Bay slipping up. They want to win. They want to win these games. They want to get that number 1 seed because they know Lambeau Field is a tough place to win, especially in the playoffs. So they got to take care of business against teams that they should beat, and this is going to be another example of that. So, I mean, we're only getting 2.5 here. This seems like it's a trap, but I don't think it will be. Yeah. I think the Packers will, flex their muscles, and they will win this game comfortably. But take the 2.5 points while you can, people.
All right, and another divisional battle we have in the AFC. We have the Dolphins and the Jets, 2 teams struggling this season, but we'll see what happens here. Who's your pick?
I like the Dolphins here. I don't know if I'm going to be regretting it, but hey, don't look now. But the Dolphins all of a sudden seem to be turning their season around. A couple of big-time wins back-to-back. Tua Tagovailoa looked really good coming in last game against the Ravens, and it was good to see the support he got from the Miami crowd when he did check in. I think fans in Miami just got to be patient with this guy. Ruling him a bust already is unfair. I think he's got a lot of potential, and if he can stay healthy, I think this Miami team, when they're fully healthy, is a team to be reckoned with. That defense has been looking scary, especially last week against the Ravens. If we can get that version of the Miami Dolphins defense going down the stretch here, the Dolphins are going to have a chance to win a lot of these games. So I just look at these 2 teams side by side, Jelani. I'm putting a lot more stock in Miami. I think this is a team that is a lot better and further along the process than the Jets are. I like the defense to play really well here. Wouldn't be surprised if they shut out the Jets. Mike White and company, I know they had that big signature win a couple weeks ago against Cincy, but they kind of fell back to reality. I think it's going to be a long day for them, and I do like Miami to keep it going here. They're going to win their 3rd straight. Give me Miami -3 on the road.
Seems like we're agreeing again because I cannot take the Jets here. I just look at the defense of the Jets. I mean, the last 3 of 4 games. So over the last 4 games, they've allowed 45 points. That's ridiculous. That's the first team to do that since the 1966 Giants, right? So over that span, it has been ugly. And also, you're looking at the yardage. They've almost allowed 2,000 yards over the last 4 games. I think that Myles Gaskin will be an X factor for Miami this week on the ground. I think that Tua Tagovailoa will have a good game. I can't put too much stock in the Jets, and I understand that the magic of Mike White was there a few weeks ago, but let's just remember who he is, right? He is a backup. He is a guy, a 5th rounder who he had a good week, right? He's in the NFL. There's good players in the NFL. Someone could have a good week here and there, but back to reality now, right? The Jets will have a long day. I think that it will start off close. It's always a divisional game, it's always close, but at the end of it, we'll see the Dolphins cover here.
All right, next game here, we got the Saints taking on the Eagles, and the Eagles are the slight 1-point favorite. Who do you like here, Jelani?
I got the Eagles this week. I think coming off of a great win in Denver, I believe that Philly is still alive for a potential playoff spot. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, they sit at 4-6, so they'll probably not win the division, but they're playing better football than the start of the year, and now they're probably looking at the 6th or 7th seed down the stretch. So if they win this week, move them to 5-6, that would help a ton. So I think that the Saints, though, when you're looking at them, they played well as of late. They have, but Alvin Kamara, he's not there. The status for him is up in the air right now because he didn't play against the Titans, right? So how will the Saints look if he doesn't suit up, right? Will they look okay? Will they struggle? We'll see what happens there. And I know they beat teams like the Bucs and Green Bay this season, but can he come up big another time here? I'm not too sure. Also because they have a thin receiving core, right? So I got the Eagles here. I think it's going to be a fun game, a really fun game, a close one. But yeah, I think the Eagles end up winning outright and getting the spread here.
Yeah, it's going to be a big win for the Eagles if they can pull it out. I just don't trust them here. I don't think they will. I think the Saints are a much better team. And I think they will respond after that very tough loss in Tennessee with a win here. Now, a big question mark is Alvin Kamara. If he can go, that's even bonus for me. But even if he doesn't go, I still like the Saints defense to make it interesting and potentially win this game. Trevor Siemian, too, he has been looking decent out there. You got to give him a lot of credit coming into this picture under these circumstances. Certainly was no easy task, but he's been doing what he's been asked to do, and that is keeping these games close, give the Saints a chance. And I really was impressed with how the Saints almost pushed the Titans to the limit. If it wasn't for a failed 2-point conversion, that game was going to overtime. So this is a Saints team, back-to-back road games. I know that's tough, but I do expect Sean Payton to get these guys ready, and they will win this game and cover that number. And the Saints are 4-0 against the spread following a loss, so I'll take that one here.
All right, you mentioned the Titans, and they're going up against their division rival Texans this week. The Titans favored 10.5. It's a big spread. Do you think the Texans cover?
Yeah, I do. I think the Titans, this is a team that they can't cover the big number, especially when they're favorites. When they're dogs, we have seen, them do some pretty incredible things, but I think there's way too many points. At the end of the day, it's still a divisional game. I know the Texans are not very good, but this is a team that's coming off their bye, can be well rested, and also Tyrod Taylor is going to have another week of rest under his belt. I know he jumped into that game against Miami, didn't look the greatest, but I think having a little bit extra preparation for this one is going to help him out. We saw how well he played at the start of the season before going down with that injury. I think that's the Tyrod Taylor we're going to see in this one. So I do like the Texans to keep things close. I wouldn't be surprised if, late in the fourth quarter, they have a chance to maybe win this game. But it's going to be tough going up against the Titans, who continue to look really good, continue to get the job done, and continue to be one of the best stories in all of football. But that being said, I do like the Texans to make this one interesting. I'm taking those 10.5 points.
Yeah, it's a big number. I'm going to go, though, with Tennessee. I think that they are the best team in the AFC. They've proven that by beating good teams week in and week out. Despite not having Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill in the offense, I think they'll have a good day. Honestly, I think the Texans defense does struggle with the pass. So I believe that Ryan Tannehill, who I find is still the most underrated quarterback in football, I think he'll have a good Sunday with guys like A.J. Brown and in company. So I think the Titans get this one done. I know it's a divisional game. It's probably going to start off pretty tight between these two. It's going to be physical because both teams like playing that way, especially Tennessee. But I just don't see the Texans doing much against Tennessee's defense, who has improved as of late. We saw what they did to the Rams. We saw, what they did to the Saints. They made it tough on the Saints. So I do think that Tyrod Taylor and his offense will struggle to get points on the board, and that would end up being okay for Tennessee in terms of the spread. So yeah, give me Tennessee.
Okay, next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. They're the slight favorite here. They're going up against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I know the Raiders did get exposed against the Chiefs. They didn't play well at all, so they'll have to respond this upcoming week against a Bengals team who's also looking for a win, right? But you have to look at what it is right now in the AFC West, right? It's a tough division. Everyone's, all bunched up together. This would be a very good win for the Raiders just to get back into the groove of things, right? So I think Derek Carr will have a good Sunday. He had a bad Sunday against the Chiefs. It was, I wasn't expecting that. I'll just be honest. I thought he was going to play a lot better, but we'll see that he does improve this week against a Bengals defense that has taken a step back, has been struggling as of late. I do think an X factor is Darren Waller. I think that the ball wasn't really thrown his way that much against Kansas City. Expect Waller to have a much better game against this Bengals defense. And also, I believe the Raiders defense, led by Max Crosby, I think they'll get after Joe Burrow, make it tough for him. I think that their overall game plan will be a lot better and better executed than it was against Kansas City.
Yeah, it's a close game. I went back and forth a couple of times on this one, but I am going to go with the Bengals. I think coming off their bye, they will get back on track here. They started off 5-2. They have fallen quickly since then, but I still like this team's chances of winning the division. I think this is a big game for them to get back on track, that offense to look a lot like the offense we saw to start the season, and that defense. I think this defense needs to step up this week. Derek Carr and the Raiders was not impressed with what I saw on Sunday Night Football. That was a game that I thought they could have very well won, and I don't know what the hell happened at the end there. They just completely fell apart. So this is going to be a back and forth game. I think this is going to be a field goal type game, but I do like Joe Burrow and the Bengals to sneak out of Las Vegas with the big time win. So I will take that 1 point.
All right. And the game of the week, everyone's talking about this one, the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs here. Chiefs are favorites, but will they get it done?
Big time game. It's going to be a game that's got everybody's attention this week. It's going to be tight. It's going to be close. I do like the Chiefs -2. I think being at Arrowhead is going to be the determining factor here. Those fans are going to go crazy. I think the Chiefs are starting to figure it out. I think they are getting back on track. We saw the old Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, Mahomes looking like his old self. And finally, that defense had a good performance against the Raiders offense that was moving the ball pretty well. So this Chiefs team, I think they're going to carry that momentum and take on a Cowboys team that has been looking really good themselves. That offense is clicking. That defense got back on track against the Falcons. So this is going to be a fantastic game. I cannot wait to see this one, but I will take the home team here. Patrick Mahomes at the end will make a game-winning play. I like the Chiefs -2.
Yeah, this is a toss-up for sure. You got two teams that look to be contenders. I believe, like what you said, I believe the Chiefs are back. I honestly think it's going to be a tough game for the Cowboys, but I got the Cowboys here despite being on the road. I find that Micah Parsons will be very impactful because they don't have Randy Gregory, to rush the passer. So I expect Micah to be up front and probably bother Mahomes, right? That's what they need. I believe also, when looking at this game, both teams need to try to keep the other offense off the field. Now, the Chiefs, they struggle to run the ball. It seems like they don't really run the ball. We'll see what Edwards-Helaire does. I believe he might be coming back this weekend, so that's a boost. But I find that the Dallas offense, led by Dak Prescott, I think they're going to do things in the air. We all know their team over there with Gallup, Cooper, and Lamb, and Schultz. But we see Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard I expect them to run the football a lot, right? Just to keep Patrick Mahomes on the bench, keep him sitting there, and a lot of long drives are going to be seen in this game. Dallas's offense, we know what they can do. They can get points on the board very fast, but this game plan this week by Kellen Moore will be slower just to make sure that they have all the time of possession. At the end of the day, I believe that spells well for the Dallas Cowboys, and they end up getting this one done. Take the Cowboys here.
It's going to be one of the best games of Week 11. Okay, next game. It's going to be a good one, divisional battle. The Arizona Cardinals, 2.5-point favorites on the road, taking on the Seattle Seahawks, who that was a tough loss for them last week.
Yeah, Seattle needs this one to keep their season alive. It's really looking bad for them. I got Seattle, though. They are at home. I believe Russell Wilson, look, he had an injury, right? So he was coming off of this finger injury, and it looked pretty bad, I'm not going to lie, in Green Bay. But I do think, with another week of preparing, I think that the Seattle Seahawks will come up big here and get it done. And the Cardinals, I mean, they might be without Kyler Murray again and DeAndre Hopkins again. So they might elect to keep them on the sideline, right? Because they have a bye week right after this one. So just getting them healthy and giving them more time to recover. I think that if they don't play, it's definitely Seattle's one to lose. It's their game to lose. Colt McCoy also, he got hurt at the end of the Panthers game for Arizona. So the quarterback spot for the Cardinals, not too certain right now. I think that Pete Carroll and that team in Seattle, they know that they need this one. They've been inconsistent, right? And Russ, I get it. He had a bad game, so that made the whole Seattle team have a bad game. I think he has a much better game this week against a pretty good Cardinals defense.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite picks this week with Seattle. I got to agree with you. It's going to be a desperate team. They need one here. I thought they, their season was on the line last week and they did that. Well, their season is on life support in this game. They need to win this game. The Cardinals QB situation is just a mess right now. Too much is unclear. So I will take Seattle to bounce back in a big way and get a much-needed victory. The 12th man, that place is going to be rocking. They're going to be going crazy. I think the defense is going to step up here, and I do like Russell Wilson to look a lot better than he did a week ago. You brought up a good point, Jelani. It was a week back following missing all those games. You knew there's going to be a lot of rust, but this week going into Sunday, he's going to be better prepared. He's going to be mentally and physically more ready to go. So I think that's just going to bode well for his side to get a win here. So I do like the Seahawks outright plus 2.5, and they will keep the very, very, very slim playoff chances alive.
Okay, and Sunday Night Football, we have the LA Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, so who's your pick here?
Yeah, the Chargers, like the Browns, are teams that you don't really know what you're going to get. I mean, they're very inconsistent. And this Chargers team, they are a representation of that. They lost to the Vikings as I thought they were. And this week, they're going to have a tough game against Pittsburgh, who's probably going to welcome back Big Ben. I know Herbert has been doing his thing out there, but this is a team that, they sometimes are struggling to get stops. And I do like the Steelers to put points on the board in this matchup, and also the Steelers defense to try and contain Herbert. Watt, can he get to Herbert? Can he make his life difficult in the pocket? We will see what happens. This is going to be a very good game, a very big game in terms of the playoff picture. 4.5 just seems like it's slightly too many here. I think this is going to be more along the lines of a field goal game. So I will take the Steelers in a close one. And this will be a fantastic Sunday Night Football game either way.
I got the Chargers here. I think LA has to run the football. We saw the Steelers actually struggle a lot against Detroit in terms of the ground game. So, and when you're looking at the Steelers defense, Minka Fitzpatrick, he has COVID, so he's not going to be able to help the passing, the passing defense, right? And then you see TJ Watt. He got hurt in their last game, the hip and knee issues. So we'll see how he comes up. But if you don't have Minka out there to help stop the passing attack of LA, and you probably, we're not sure yet, but the uncertainty around TJ Watt, it's going to be interesting to see how they play on Sunday. And Big Ben, I mean, he also had COVID, so he didn't play this past weekend against Detroit. But it's also uncertain there as well because he's still trying to get back and clear all protocol. So there's a chance, there's a possibility he doesn't play this weekend, right? And like you mentioned, though, it's a big game for AFC playoff picture. The Chargers might want to get a win here. I think that Justin Herbert and company will get it done. I see that it will be a game where they end up getting in the end zone multiple times through the air. But again, the running game has to be there. Austin Eckler, watch for him. He might be the X factor here against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, a lot of question marks right now for the Steelers. It'll be interesting to see who even suits up for them for Sunday night. Okay, and then the final game of the week, to Monday Night Football we go. The New York Giants coming off their bye, taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just got upset. The Buccaneers laying 11. What do you think?
I mean, it is a pretty big number, especially due to the fact that the Bucs have not been playing in Buccaneer football the past few weeks. But I'm gonna put faith here and put the hope that they actually get it done. I have them getting this one. I know it's a big number, but Tom Brady, man, what else can you say? I think that he's gonna have a better week this week, honestly. Washington had a great game plan, Ron Rivera and those guys. I just don't know what New York has in store. Yes, New York's defense isn't the best in the league, but they've played okay in certain games. So we'll see how they try to pressure Brady. I just find that Brady will find Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans will have a big game here against New York. And yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay, they might want to get a win here. Why? Because the top of the NFC is so top heavy. You see all the teams like the Cardinals, Packers, Cowboys, Rams. They're in the midst of that, right? They probably lost out on a first round bye, just the way they've played the past few weeks. But if they get a win here, they're right back in the thick of things. I find that Tom Brady will get this done. They're not going to drop yet another game.
Yeah, Buccaneers are definitely going to win, but I think it's going to be close. I think 11 is too many points. I mean, you look at the Buccaneers this season in terms of confidence to spread. They're only covering about 33% of their games. This hasn't been a sure bet against the spread. And I know they're going to be at home. He's going to be coming off two losses, especially that last week. But hey, if there's one team that has proven a track record against Tom Brady, it is the New York Giants. I think they will be able to contain Brady. We've seen that he struggled these last couple of weeks. I know their defense has been kind of all over the place, very consistent, but I do like the defense to really keep Brady in check. And then Daniel Jones, I think that offense is going to get big goals. Big defense that could not get stopped if they're like dependent on it against Washington. So the Buccaneers look vulnerable right now. I know we see this every season, at least one season with Tom Brady, but I think there's a little bit of something that's going to show here. I do like the Bucs to win, but I'm taking the Giants to 11. I think the win 3 points per game.
All right, we'll see what happens with that one. And again, guys, here are our picks. All right, we see that we agree on some, and some other ones are toss-ups. And as per usual, there are a lot of toss-ups on Sundays. So we'll see how it goes. Again, I'm 1 point behind Luca in terms of our picks. So yeah, no, one game though, the one game I want to highlight here is definitely the Kansas City Chiefs and Dallas Cowboys. This is the biggest toss-up probably of the season so far. Again, two contenders, two great teams. So we'll see what happens with that one. And obviously, like we mentioned, the Steelers game, the Sunday nighter, big game for AFC implications. But guys, thank you again for watching Spreadzies. For Jelani, for Luca, we'll see you next time.